Okay, we'll go ahead and get started making the bearded gnome. The first thing I'll do is get a jar and make sure I have it on hand so when I pour the rice into the sock, I don't have a heavenly mess. I will take the first sock. I need to cut it right at the heel, and I'll do so by using my fabric scissors. So give it a little cut straight across. Always have a fabric scissor and a craft scissor. Hang on to this part because you'll use it for a hat later. Take my sock, stretch it over the jar. You can use a cup. You don't even have to use anything. This is just easier for me. Pour the rice in. I have 2-cup measurement. That's how I think I want my guy to be so far, is 2 cups, but we'll see. Push it down so you don't have an overflow and a mess. Normally at the top, I will use a rubber band so I don't have to have both hands consumed. All right, this is just about 2 cups. Now, carefully. This is why I say please use a cup so you don't have a mess. I'm going to pack it down. Sometimes I will cut my sock after I pour the rice, but it really doesn't matter how you do it. The sock will stretch. Now this is the remainder of my 2 cups. Pour that inside. Make sure I pack this down very well. He's going to be a fat guy. Now I need to make sure that I tie the top off with a rubber band. And I'm always using color, but it doesn't matter because you don't see this in the end. Secure the top with a rubber band. There we go. There's the beginning stages of your gnome. Always, always go back to your gnome. Use twine, embroidery floss, anything. Put a little tie on this and secure it. If after time that rubber band gives away, it won't be good. Use a tie just to secure it. And I'll get rid of these free edges so that he's secure. The rubber band helps you hold it together, is the reason I use the rubber band. And then I'll use the tie again to secure it in case this ever comes loose. Now I can take this little top off. Make it even. Not necessary, but you can. All right, he's beginning to take form. I just form him a little bit. One thing I've been doing lately with my gnomes, I will add either ribbon, twine, whatever you have. In this case, I'm going to use a zip tie because, you know, I told you I love zip ties. I'm just going to zip tie the middle of him so he can keep his little shape. See? Almost looking like a snowman, but he's not. He will be a gnome. I just wanted to be able to keep his shape a little bit. Shape it however you like. And remember, the zip tie is not permanent. If it's not working out for you, just take it off. And cut the free edge. Now, The next thing I need to do is form his nose. Nose is very simple. I usually use 2 rubber bands when I do this because they will often break in the middle of creating his nose. Kind of thin. Now, wherever I'd like his nose to be, probably about here, I will just pinch up a nice amount of this rice. Secure the rubber band around it. Ta-da! His nose. Now, on to other fun things. You may use blush to make his nose kind of pink or whatever you'd like. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. So, now we're going to put his body on. Again, take your fabric scissor. You can cut this off now, or you can pull it all the way over your gnome. I will cut this one a little higher than the heel. Just this stripe above the heel. It's important to have good scissors because you get a nice clean cut. Other than that, you'll be sawing into this thick sock. Now I'm going to cover my gnome. I put the black part at the bottom. It's like the toe area of the sock. I pull it relatively tight. Pull it all the way over his head so I can see about where I want it. So the first thing I need to do is cut this excess off. I usually cut last because I've cut before and it wasn't enough to go on the top and I was disappointed. So cut last. So I'm going to cut this, one clean cut, and this is what I do to his nose. Put this sock under his nose and I pull this all the way up. Shake it down so you can get enough. And I cover everything up, leaving his nose exposed. Again, rubber band. Okay. And again, out of precaution, always go back and add a tie or a zip tie. I'm giving you both versions of what works. In this case, I'll go ahead and put a zip tie on. Cut the free edge of the zip tie off. There he is so far. Now let me place him over to the side. Now I've cut a portion of the faux fur. Nice square. This square is about 4 inches by 6 inches. Normally I cut the same thing every time. And the first thing I'm going to do is make room for his nose. So I will fold this in half to find my half spot. And I just want to cut a little curve out for his little nose. Okay, just like that. So his nose will have fur under it. Just like that. He's coming to life. I will shape his beard because it has a little square shape and I don't want it to be square. I always try to cut from the back side because I want to leave as much of the length as I can. So I am just going to freely shape this up. See, this side is really square. I don't want it to be square. Just like this. I kind of want his beard to be a little pointed. Cutting it from the back, you're able to leave quite a bit of the fur on. You're not losing a lot of fur. So this is his little beard. So now I will hot glue the beard. Must have a clean surface, very important. Little dab of glue on the back. I usually glue one side pretty well and under his nose, and then I glue the other side. Careful not to touch that glue, it's very hot. I have glue under his nose, so I want that to set. And then I go back and do this side. There's his beard. You see him coming to life? I do. Now, the next thing is his hat, which is very easy. I will take this little party hat, little simple hat, take it apart. I don't need any of this inside. You can simply cut this out. Now I need to make this smaller so that it fits on the gnome. So what I'm doing is taking the hat, took it apart, going to make this smaller. Close it smaller to see where it fits on his little head. So I'm taking the gnome, making sure this is a good fit on his head. Looks pretty good. And there's a lot of different ways to make gnomes. So if this is not one of the ways you make gnomes, or you'd like to make gnomes, just keep working on them. I make them so many different ways. I think every one that I have, I've done differently. They're fun. Just keep it as a fun project. Now that I have his hat ready, I'm going to hold it a minute so it sets. Just going to put a rubber band on it so I don't have to hold it just for a moment. Okay. Now I'm using contrast, which is the other sock. See, that sock and this sock will create him. So I am going to pull this sock over the top of that hat, just like this. Just like this. What's easier to me? Take a little dab of glue, put it at the base of this hat, secure your sock over it. I have cut it and tried to glue it several times, and it just does not do me justice, because you're pulling and tugging at the sock the whole time, which is not fun. A little more glue. You're going to do this till you get all the way around the hat, basically. So I've got it pretty secure where it won't snap off if I cut it. Right in the glue set. I'm going to cut this a little over because I'll tuck it underneath. Cut this with fabric scissors, I'm sorry. Get a good clean cut. Now, there's a little hat. Mr. Gnome hat. So before I put the hat on his head, I do like to put a couple of embellishments on. So I'll do that prior to putting his hat on. So pretty sure that I would like this little snowflake. Again, I always use this snowflake. It's a habit. Little dab of glue on it right in the center. And these are, again, the little sheets that I got from the Dollar Tree. Okay, you will find a little bit of this hat has slack in it, and I'm going to get rid of the slack with a rubber band. And I'm taking it to the top. Actually making a little bed for my bell to sit on. I will use this bell, give him a pop of color. So I need a little glue. Place this bell right on top. I don't know if you can see this. Gotta hold it there to make sure it stays on. Hopefully it'll droop over to one side. If it does that, I'll be very happy. Now I am going to smush his little hat on. Now when I put his hat on, I want to make sure the edges of his beard are in the hat, tucked under on both sides. I'll begin with glue across the front of him, and then I will do the back. There we go. Goodness. Need to add another glue stick. Little glue under the back of his hat. I'll cut that off. Little glue. Here's our little gnome. Now, one thing I do is if I need them to sit up and it seems like they're a little wobbly, I just lightly tap them on the table and it puts the weight exactly where you need it. The last thing I think I'll do for this little guy is add a little shovel on the side of him. Just because he's headed to the woods, remember? This is another DT deal, and I think he just needs one. There's a small staple here. Okay, now, and I really wanted to keep the little hanger on because, again, it gives it the rustic look. And I just want it to be on the side of him so you could see he's busy. So I'll glue that and hold it and wait for it to set a minute so that I know it's there. Not going anywhere. And I already told you how excited I was to find these little wood pieces. I think he needs a piece of this too. Put quite a bit of glue on that so it will stay. And I'll just press and hold. There you have it. This is our gnome of the day. Of course, I'll be back. Can't see his little bell. There's his little bell. Of course, I'll be back with more of these gnomes. This is just a very easy way to make the gnome. Little supply list just to get you started. So here he is. Enjoy and look forward to my videos. Please like, comment, and share. See you soon. Bye-bye.